As long as people have been making pictures, we've been using those pictures to lie to one another. This can be for light-hearted reasons or more nefarious purposes. In 1917, two young girls claimed to photograph real fairies in their garden. It turned out to be a hoax that fooled even Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. It makes you wonder, can you really believe everything you see? Today, we're diving into the world of deepfakes, manipulated media, and viral hoaxes, where seeing is no longer believing. To help us make sense of how these deceptive tools work and why they matter, we're going to be hearing from a leading voice in media forensics and digital misinformation.
My name's Henry Ajder, and I'm an expert on deepfakes and manipulated media. And today we're going to be looking at some famous cases of hoaxes and AI-generated content.
The last 2 weeks of March are an anxious time for the spaghetti farmer. There's always the chance of a late frost, which, while not entirely ruining the crop, generally impairs the flavour. But now these dangers are over, and the spaghetti harvest goes forward. After picking, the spaghetti is laid out to dry in the warm alpine sun.
So this clip was broadcasted in 1957 on the BBC show Panorama, a current affairs show. And it was something that was done for April Fools. It was a joke. So at the time this show was received with some people finding it funny and clearly seeing it as a joke that it was meant to be. But there was also a really strong reaction from some in the audience who felt that this was deceptive. The manipulation doesn't take place in the video. That is real spaghetti hanging on those trees. What it is the use of a format, of a context in which people are used to seeing factual information being used to fool, deceive, but also in this case, have a bit of fun.
So welcome live this Halloween night to the first ever TV Ghostwatch. We're going to investigate one of the most baffling and fascinating areas of human experience, the supernatural. Tonight, television is going ghost hunting in an unprecedented scientific experiment we hope to show you, for the first time, irrefutable proof that ghosts really do exist.
So the motivations of this show were purely to entertain the audience. It was broadcasted on Halloween night, and it was basically meant to try and provide a scare. It was meant to be using these special effects to provide the appearance of supernatural phenomena taking place. And this was a piece of drama again, but it was framed as a documentary. Now, in the UK and worldwide, the BBC is a trusted media outlet. And so this kind of mockumentary, or this kind of fake documentary being broadcasted on the BBC, meant that some people felt their trust was broken because people expected factual content, when presented as factual, to actually be so, as opposed to that format being manipulated or misused in their eyes for dramatic effect. So again, we see a case where the format of a documentary, the trusted brand of the BBC in the voice of Michael Parkinson, combined with the special effects in the footage, leading to people feeling duped.
Любі українці, шановні захисники, бути президентом виявилося не так вже й легко. Я приймаю ще одне складне рішення – попрощатися з вами. І раджу скласти зброю і повернутися до своїх сімей.
This clip was released soon after the invasion of Ukraine started, and this deepfake was created, we believe, by Russian-linked groups and was actually hacked onto Ukrainian television. This case represented the first example of deepfakes being used on the battlefield and really represent a new frontier for how digital media can be weaponized and used to create serious harm and impact on society if successfully executed. The deepfake is not perfect. The head shape, for example, of Zelensky is completely wrong. You can also see in the facial region that the lighting doesn't quite match the rest of the room. The video is also comprehensively debunked and rebutted by Zelensky and the Ukrainian government, making it very clear to people that this was a deepfake and not a real video.
I control the Met Police. They will do as the Mayor of London tells them and obey orders. The British public need to get a grip of I run London.
So in this clip, we see an example of AI-generated voice audio, specifically of the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan. And this example is really high quality. You can see that there is natural breathing patterns in the audio, the intonation, the way he pauses, or it sounds like he's pausing. And the clip itself was created to effectively play into social unrest that was happening at the time in November of 2023 surrounding the Armistice Day memorial service and pro-Palestinian activists who were protesting the war in Gaza. This was something that Khan himself, he said, was worried would lead to serious disorder. He also recognized that it sounded a lot like him. And it's a good example of how media manipulation, new and old, has played into our fears, our biases, our emotional response. And so in these kinds of cases, it's important to remember if we're presented with something or we see something that makes us feel very angry or very scared or strong emotions, to take a step back to wonder, why is this piece of media making me feel this way? Has it been perhaps designed to do so? And in the case of deepfakes, maybe wait for multiple sources of verification before coming to a final judgment.
I'm going on the record to say we can make a difference by stopping Starmer and his slippery promises. Let's get rid of Rishi Sunak and his rotten Tories for good.
So this final clip is a great example of the state of the art of deepfakes in 2025. This was created by Channel 4 for an investigation they were doing into how persuasive deepfakes could be in changing voters' minds in elections. And this clip is really impressive. It is of a really high quality. For most people, even for me, it is quite hard visually alone to tell that this is not, in fact, a real video. If I were watching this, scrolling on social media, not knowing that I was looking to try and spot signs of a deepfake, I may not have picked it up. The speed of advances and changes is not looking like it's slowing down anytime soon. As a deepfake expert and someone who works in this space, I'm conscious that I'm struggling often to spot deepfakes. And we can't expect all of you watching and others to become digital Sherlocks, to be able to see all of the deepfakes out there, particularly as they become increasingly powerful and realistic. And so moving forward, we need government, we need businesses, we need news media, all to work together to find new ways to provide authentication and transparency about the things that we see and hear, where seeing and believing are no longer on face value trustworthy.
In a world where seeing is no longer believing, it's more important than ever to question what we're shown. Taking the time to check multiple sources and avoid jumping to conclusions can help us navigate today's media landscape with clarity and confidence. Thanks so much for watching, and we hope to see you at the museum soon.